Hello and welcome. Malaysia heads to the polls this weekend in national elections that pit Prime Minister Abdullah Ahmad Badawi's long-ruling Barisan Nasional coalition against three main opposition parties: the left-leaning ethnic Chinese Democratic Action Party, the Islamist PAS Party, and former Deputy Premier Anwar Ibrahim's Keadilan Party. The key question may not be who will win, as Prime Minister Badawi is expected to sail to re-election, but whether or not the balloting will be free and fair. Widespread reports of phantom voter lists, coupled with a virtual media blackout of opposition candidates, has raised speculation that disaffected Malaysians may opt out altogether. On today's programme, we look at whether or not the ruling coalition can maintain its crucial two-thirds parliamentary majority and how it will deal with rising prices and the country's growing ethnic tensions. To discuss these issues, we speak with Malaysia's Prime Minister, Abdullah Ahmad Badawi, who joins us from his home state of Penang. Prime Minister, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Prime Minister, I have to ask you, with the elections just a day away now, of course, you've been emphasising and campaigning a lot on the issue of Malaysia's economic growth, and yet prices of basic goods are rising, and there's been a downturn in the markets in recent days. I wonder, what are you doing, or what is your plan for ensuring that Malaysia doesn't spiral down what seems to be a global economic downturn?
Well, what we are doing to ensure that our economy remains strong, and our economy continues to grow. And at the same time, we want to make sure that our deficit remains low, and we want to attract investors to come to Malaysia and to create job opportunities for our young people. But at this time, we are a country that is really anti-inflation. We have been always ensuring that the inflation is not going to be high. But there has to be some measures undertaken. Of course, we subsidize the oil, the fuel, and at the same time we also subsidize in other areas. We try to keep the prices of commodities, the prices of essential goods as low as possible. We decided on controlling certain price, fixing the prices of certain essential commodities at a certain level that is affordable to our people. And we maintain that we have enforcement people to ensure that the prices of these essential goods at the shops will be maintained at the level decided by the government.
Well, sir,
this we do. We do for many, yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, one of the things that we had...
Yes,
yeah, I want to touch on the point you're about to make through an email we had from Singapore. Chua Lin Shun wrote in with this email saying, in the 1990s, Malaysia was in the top 3 ASEAN countries in terms of GDP growth. It's now at the bottom of ASEAN countries. How do you plan to get GDP growth going again? I think you were going to touch on a few points.
No, that's not right. That is not right. That's not right. That's not right. We are doing well. We are doing very well now. Recently, we have already recorded an increase of 6.3%. That is above our estimate. And we continue. We have been continuing to grow. We have been reducing our deficit, and our economy remains strong. Inflation is still low, and that's something that you should take to note. We have the rate of unemployment is also low, 3%. That's equal to full employment, and that's what we are doing. We are driving very, very hard, and at the same time, we want to make sure that economic growth will continue to expand. And this is very important for Malaysia, because we know that there's growth with distribution. That has been our strategy. So we have now have 14 billion USD for FDI, and from the Middle East and from China we have got, and we have also from East Asia. Japan is the biggest today. So what we are doing today is to find new sources of FDI, and indeed these are coming. We have developed new areas of development. We call it new economic corridor development in 4 places: south of the peninsula, east of the peninsula, north of the peninsula, Malaysia. One is in Sabah, and one in Sarawak. These are going to be the new growth areas, and these areas are attracting considerable interest, and right. I'm very happy. And for Malaysia, for example, we have the GE. The GE is investing in Malaysia. Richard Bronson is investing in Malaysia. And we have also the Arabs from the Gulf area are also investing. If these guys are, if I can use the word, they are very, very careful. They want to make sure where they put their money, they have a chance of getting the of making profit.
But I wonder,
making
Prime
good
Minister,
returns, and they have picked Malaysia for this purpose.
Right, and I wonder, Prime Minister, with the issue though, I mean, obviously the eyes are turned to the country as the election is about to take place, and of course some of the things we've seen, such as street protests and so on. The issue of Islam and the way Malaysia handles, you know, the Muslim population compared with other ethnic groups. Interview came up with an email question that we got from Indonesia here, from Abu Abdul Hadi in Aceh. And he says, I was in Malaysia from 1992 until 2005. The ruling UMNO coalition is no more than a secular party for Malay Muslims. It does not represent the country's Islamic roots. And the viewer went on to suggest that Malaysia's Muslims may find a better representation as far as religion with the PAS. And I wonder what your thoughts are on that.
No, we cannot. We reject that idea. I reject that idea. We are neither secular, we are neither religious. Because for Islam, there is no concept of secularism, none. But we are emphasizing on what is best for our people. We are emphasizing on economic development. We must ensure that we distribute the wealth equitably so that all the races in Malaysia or the various ethnic groups will benefit from economic development. Ours is very pragmatic. Pragmatism is what we emphasize on. And this has given Malaysia the kind of success that we are enjoying today. The Muslims are happy with their lot. The Muslims are doing well now. And I have also introduced Islam Hadari. This is Manhaj Islam Hadari. It's a guide for the Muslims to adopt. If they want to progress, we must progress. Certainly we must progress. But the principles that we have chosen are the kind of principles which are not in any way, which are not offending to the Malaysians of other faiths. And they are in fact very happy if these are the principles of being fair, the principles of being honest, the principles of justice, the principles of good governance, emphasizing on comprehensive economic development so that all will benefit. So we have this, and I've been addressing on this subject. This very, just let me finish this part. So we are there. Just neither secular, neither religious, but very practical. We have survived on being practical. We are moderate. We are tolerant. We respect the religion of other nations, and this is how we have succeeded. My party has succeeded, and all the elections that we have had, we have managed to secure the success more than 2/3 majority.
But of course, you had to.
There's no reason why we cannot get.
But of course, you've had to answer the issue of the riots that have been taking place, and the government's been accused of being fairly heavy-handed with handling those. And actually, the activists in the Indian community say they'll deny the ruling coalition the 2/3 majority it needs to run the country effectively. And I wonder what concerns you have about that, the way that seems to be at least some kind of isolation of ethnic groups such as the Indians.
No, the Indians have not been isolated. The Indians have not been. But if you're talking about the poor among them, of course we have the Indians who are poor, we have the Chinese who are poor, we have the Malays who are poor. Yes, if you want to talk about poverty, yes. But if you are talking about what we have done in the area to reduce poverty, we have been successful in reducing poverty from what before was almost 60% to what today is 5.7%. That's a great success. But 5.7%, there are still poor people, 5.7%. And we have 1% who are the hardcore poverty that we have given ourselves the task of eradicating it by the year 2010. So we cannot say there is no poverty in Malaysia. If we want to address this, the government equally wants to address. The eradication of poverty has been Malaysia's very, very important policy. We have done well, we have succeeded. The UN, you can accept the fact that we have been the most successful country in the area of reducing poverty, and this is
then Prime
what
Minister,
we have achieved.
Prime Minister, then how do you?
And, but we will continue to address. We will continue to address the.
Sir, I have to ask you then, how do you address the issue, or how do you answer the issue of the riots that have been taking place, of course? And of course, you have the Hindu Rights Action Force, 5 activists of Hindraf held in jail under the Internal Security Act. Will they be released? Of course, they're not being held on any specific charges, and it seems that they haven't, according to a lot of reports, haven't done anything specifically wrong.
They have been. We know. I know why they have to be detained under the ISA. I know. I'm not the one who abused the ISA and use it on anybody that I like. No, there must be some reason for why we have to do it. And the Malaysians are welcome it. The Western are welcome. Never before had Malaysians welcomed the use of ISA on these people. And I have not resorted to ISA as the first measure as the first option. It was not the first option. I delayed it. There were other measures we want, but the Malaysians are very unhappy with what's happening, and I know that's the best way to do is to take them under the ISA. And indeed, that was welcome.
Right. In your campaigning, Prime Minister, of course, you want to enact change and progress things. How are you handling the issue of corruption within the civil service? Because, of course, that's a criticism that the government gets. There was an email that we got from Malaysia, from Rosalie in Kuala Lumpur, who says...
We have improved. We have improved.
Right, yeah. This email says, your son-in-law is a prominent candidate for Parliament. If he wins, will you promote him to the cabinet? And are you concerned about the appearance of nepotism?
Who's that? Who's this person?
Oh, Rosalie, one of the viewers. One of the viewers who wrote in.
I have not decided. I have not decided on anybody.
Right.
I have not decided on anybody who would be in my cabinet, as far as I'm concerned. After that is a concern. But we have been fighting corruption. We have improved. Today there is a lot of improvement. We have been able to get more cases that we have investigated, and more cases have been sent to the court. We have also increased the number of people. The investigators. We have also created a core of forensic auditors. We have set up the academy to train the officials. This is the Anti-Corruption Academy. We have done all that we can in order to reduce them. Today we have been successful, but I don't say that we have eradicated poverty eradication. This is not easy, but we have been successful today. And our friends, our investors, the businessmen know we have improved also the public service delivery system, and by so doing, we have been able to reduce the cost of doing business. This is very much welcomed by the private sector. We have also set up a committee made up of the public service officials as well as the public sector to address all the issues of delay, to address all the difficulties, the problems faced by the private sector in dealing with the government, and also the problems that we may have in dealing with the private sector. And that too has been very welcome, and that mechanism, that particular committee has been most successful in eliminating the various problems and the obstacles and the bureaucracy that has hindered the quick progress of implementation for any project that we want, and including the issuance of licenses, the issuance of permits to the investors who are keen to start investing in Malaysia. This is what we are doing, and we will continue to do that.
There's been some concern in the international media about what seems to be a total media blackout, an unfair lack of access to the media for election campaigning from opposition parties.
How could they have such a perception? I think I'm amazed that they have. Yes, I'm amazed that they have such perception.
Well, in fact, we had an email.
You are here.
It was an email.
Stay here 1 week and say.
Well, this email that came in from Mustafa in Malaysia, he says, much of the Malaysian media is owned by government supporters, but why is the opposition not allowed to purchase advertising? Will you go on record saying that any newspaper is free to carry opposition advertising?
Well, they have given spaces to the opposition. They have interviewed. They have written articles about them. There we have also covered the activity, and besides, there are also other media as equally active and have very good readership. This is what they are doing. And as far as the media are concerned, today is more freer than ever before. And this is something that they know it, but of course, being opposition, they continue to ask they want to be more and more free. Where is complete freedom? There's no such thing as completely free media, whether it is in Asia, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in America. They have their own agenda sometimes. They know what to do. Sometimes they impose their own this is self-imposed editorial. This is what people say. But as far as we are concerned, it is completely wrong to say that our media is not free. Okay. It's completely wrong. It is completely wrong to say that we have not given publicity to the opposition people.
And Prime Minister, just as we wrap up the interview, I have to ask about the upcoming election and what you will do to guarantee it's free and fair. Of course, you know that in 2004 there was the appearance of dead voters on the registration list, and there are now about 9,000 registered over 100 years old. How will you ensure that
they have already cleaned up?
They have
already cleaned up the register. We have already cleaned up the register because the register of voters are available to all, to including the opposition. They can go through it. They can go through it, have their own research. We have to go through that also. We have discovered that some of the names of those people who have already died, and then we have to get those names out. We are looking into the register as often as any other political party that are interested that is interested in participating in the election. This is absolutely important to us because we want to make sure that those who are going to vote are people who have voted and they have the right to vote, and no one is going to be denied the right to vote. This is an election machinery, election commission that has been in existence since the beginning. Very experienced, they know how to handle, they know. And they have been very well. All the results of our elections have been credible. But do remember this, Riots, that opposition have won in many states. They have controlled 3 states before. They have controlled Kelantan, they have controlled Terengganu, they have controlled Sabah. So that's 3 states. Are you going to say that this election is not fair? If it is unfair, if it favors all the time, then they will have no chance to win any seat at all, if that's what we are going to do. We don't do that because we want the result of election to be credible. I'm equally interested in the result to be credible because if we win with credibility, and that's what we want.
And Prime Minister, final thought, are you still confident about...
the emphasis has always been fair.
Right, and are you confident about the date having moved the election forward more than a year? Of course, you know, people have said it so that you wouldn't have to compete against Anwar Ibrahim or perhaps not have to answer to certain things. Are you still confident about having the election on this date?
That's... they can say anything. I have decided this is the best time to have election, so be it. I don't think of any individual. I think of the nation. I think of this is the best time with the economy doing well. The best time to go for election. That's it.
Prime Minister, thank you very much for talking to us. Thanks for joining us from there from Malaysia at LA Tower.
Thank you, Reyes. Thank you. See you in Malaysia.
I hope so.
See you in Malaysia.
Thank you, sir. And don't go away. We'll be back in a moment with a representative of the opposition Pan-Malaysian Islamic Party.
Don't